Welcome back to Forge College. So, if you caught our last explainer on defining decentralization in blockchains, you know we've really nailed down the theoretical stuff. But today we're leaving that neat, clean theory behind. We are diving headfirst into the messy, real-world engineering of actually running a network. We're talking about the practical costs, the hard limits, and those daily compromises that keep developers up at night. Let me hit you with a bit of a controversial question right out of the gate. Is more decentralization always better? Now, spoiler alert here, it's really not. I know it's super tempting to view decentralization as this magic wand that just automatically fixes everything, but in reality, it is a strict trade-off. In fact, sometimes dialing up the decentralization can actually break the exact thing you're trying to build. Crazy, right? Okay, here's our agenda for today. We've got 1. The balancing act, 2. Performance versus coordination, 3. Security and attack surfaces, 4. Steering the governance, 5. Real-world architectures, and finally, 6. The decision framework. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The balancing act. Moving from ideology to engineering. Think of network coordination kind of like making dinner plans. Planning a quick bite with 2 friends? Super fast, virtually zero overhead. But if one of them cancels, the whole plan dies, right? That's your classic single point of failure. Now imagine trying to plan dinner with 10,000 strangers. It's incredibly inclusive. If 50 people bail, hey, dinner is still happening. But actually coordinating that, you're looking at a 3-day voting process, endless chaotic group chats, and, let's be totally honest, you're probably ending up with cold, sad pizza. Well, blockchains face this exact same reality. Section 2. Performance versus coordination, the cost of agreement. First up, we need to talk about throughput. Think of throughput as your engine's horsepower, or, how many cars can fit on a highway at the exact same time. It's the raw amount of work the system can handle per second. When a tiny centralized group is in charge, they don't need to send a million messages back and forth to agree on something. Their communication is super lean, which means you can push vastly more work through the system in a blink. Next is latency, otherwise known as finality time. This is basically your system's reaction time. It's like waiting for a package delivery to be officially signed for. In highly decentralized systems, this latency dramatically increases. Why? Because thousands of computers scattered all over the globe have to talk to each other and cast votes before a transaction is permanently locked in. So what's the bottom line here? Expanding your network to thousands of nodes makes your coordination costs absolutely skyrocket. Managing that massive global group chat acts as a huge, heavy drag on performance. You literally end up spending a massive chunk of your computational budget just keeping everyone on the same page. This data paints a really clear picture of these trade-offs. Centralized control and boom, your speed goes up while your delays go down. Easy, right? Well, the catch is the attack surface. By centralizing to get that sweet, sweet speed, your vulnerability shoots way up. You are literally trading your safety for convenience. Section 3. Security and attack surfaces, where authority concentrates. Hackers are notoriously lazy. They absolutely love the path of least resistance. If a handful of top validators control the vast majority of the network stake, sure, they make things run perfectly smooth, but they also instantly become a massive, juicy target. Whether we're talking about a rogue hacker or even a legal entity, an attacker only has to compromise a tiny handful of people to seize control of the entire system. On the flip side, if you scatter that authority globally, an attacker's job becomes a total nightmare. Now they have to compromise thousands of independent people. But decentralization creates weird new vulnerabilities of its own. You suddenly have to worry about the network literally splitting in half, backroom bribery channels, or targeted attacks that are just designed to lag the whole system out. You don't actually eliminate risk, you just mutate it into something else. Section 4. Steering the governance. Who holds the wheel? A really great mental model for this is separating the throttle from the steering wheel. The throttle represents your raw speed and capacity. Steering represents who actually gets to change the rules. Now, if a small group controls both, you get incredibly fast upgrades to fix bugs. But if the people steering suddenly decide to drive the network right off a cliff, well, you're strapped in the passenger seat with no brakes. Section 5. Real-world architectures, consortia, public chains, and roll-ups. First, let's look at the permissioned consortium chain. Picture a group of megabanks. They want lightning-fast settlement and absolutely zero surprises. They will happily throw decentralization completely out the window in exchange for efficiency.
For them, security doesn't rely on complex math and cryptography, it relies on good old-fashioned lawyers, contracts, and institutional reputation.
Then, completely on the flip side, you have a public proof of stake chain. This model optimizes for absolute survival and censorship resistance above all else. Anyone can join from anywhere. To ensure no shadowy cartel can alter the record, it enthusiastically endures slower speeds and incredibly dramatic community arguments. In this system, friction isn't a bug at all. It's the main feature.
And then we have Layer 2 hybrid rollups, which are honestly incredibly clever. They use a centralized sequencer to just slam the throttle down, giving users super fast, cheap transactions. But they cleverly leave the steering, meaning the ultimate security and verification, decentralized on the main chain. It's essentially the best of both worlds. Section 6, the decision framework. Building your blueprint. So, how do you actually cut through all the vague marketing hype out there? You use this 3-step reality check. Step 1. Find the catastrophic failure points. Basically, ask yourself, what absolutely cannot go wrong? Step 2. Decide if math or lawyers are defending those points. And step 3. Honestly estimate the remaining risk against a realistic enemy. To do that effectively, you need hard data. Don't just read the white paper, you have to look at the dashboard. Track the exact percentage of power held by the top validators. Track how badly the network lags when it's under stress. And measure how long it takes to recover from a major community argument. The raw telemetry will tell you if a network actually does what its marketing team claims. Ultimately, there is no such thing as a perfect network. There are only perfect compromises. So you always have to ask yourself, what exactly are you building for, and which failure modes are you most desperate to prevent? Keep that in the back of your mind as you explore this space. And hey, make sure you visit forge.college to dive even deeper into these Web3 concepts. Thanks for exploring with us today, and we'll see you in the next explainer.